What's up, everyone? Stuntman Mark here, back again with another review on behalf of DEADPIT Radio. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Spanish dark comedy horror film, The Coffee Table. This film was released in Europe in 2022, and then in 2023, it made its way onto the festival circuit, and more recently, last month in April, it made its way onto DVD and digital streaming services. The film itself was directed by Caye Casas, as well as being written by him and Cristina Borobia. It's not exactly a horror film in the traditional sense, but it is very much a horror story. This is going to be a spoiler-free review, so let's get into it. So the story centers on a married couple, Jesus and Maria. They both are at a department store in the first 5 minutes of the film where they come across a coffee table. The couple sort of goes back and forth about whether or not they should buy it, and ultimately, against his wife's better judgment, Jesus does purchase the coffee table. Jesus and Maria make their way back to their apartment where they encounter a little girl that's about 13 years old named Ruth. She lives a floor above the couple, and she will go on to become an integral part of the film. Sort of a subplot / side character. There's an incident that we don't see in the film, but is talked about between the two characters, Ruth and Jesus. After the encounter with Ruth, we get to another scene with the couple, and the film at this point is playing out more so like a drama. And you're starting to wonder, where does the horror come into play? Well, at about the 20-minute mark, we get our first glimpse of why this is indeed a horror story. For the next hour, our lead character, Jesus, go through every type of horrific emotion that one could go through, from grief to despair, shock, anxiety, hallucinations. One of the more interesting aspects of the film is how the character Jesus internalizes all of these emotions and displaying all of these emotions without actually saying anything. And you, the viewer, sit there and witness and watch all of the trauma that the character goes through until we get to the inevitable conclusion. I will say that the horror that takes place in the first act of the film is very much make or break for the viewer. One of the many great things about the movie are the performances. You also can put yourself in the shoes of the lead character and wonder what would you do in this situation, because all of it could actually happen. The film also breezes by. It runs at a very brisk and swift 1 hour and 28 minutes. Also, the relationship that is on display between our lead characters, the couple of Maria and Jesus, is very realistic. The shock and trauma that the characters go through is also handled in a realistic way, but there are bits of comedy sprinkled in to break up a lot of the tension, but it does not distract from the horror. I think that the director does want the audience to suffer and go through exactly what the lead character goes through throughout the movie. He does a great job of showcasing that and delivering, all while not being campy or schlocky in any way, shape, or form. And in a film like this, your climax has to be so incredibly strong so that it makes everything that you've experienced beforehand worth it. That's not to say that it is necessarily a happy ending. I do find the overall film to be very bleak, but at the same time, an interesting watch. In closing, I'd like to add that this film is well directed, well written. It is not a film that tries to rely on special effects or anything extravagant, more so by character-driven scenes and what I'd like to call realistic horror. Check it out on streaming services. Right now, it is out from Second Sight Films. And if you haven't already, check out DEADPIT Radio on YouTube, as well as on Instagram at Into the DEADPIT. This is Stuntman Mark, signing out.
Give us the thumbs up.
Up your butt.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that DEADPIT puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a fuck.
I want you to. I want you to.
Okay.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit Radio shirts. You can get Last Out on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. all kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. shop.deadpit.com.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. DEADPIT on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows, fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.